Good afternoon and welcome to this interview. It's my pleasure to have with us today Ramana Chamarty. Ramana is the head of cyber security architecture at Fidelity Investments, and it's our pleasure to welcome him. To begin, Ramana, can you tell us a little bit about the kind of work you do?
Sure. Thanks, Gary. Thanks for this opportunity. As you mentioned, I oversee a cybersecurity architecture team at Fidelity Investments, providing technical leadership in the area of all aspects of security. So pretty much what we do is we leverage the cybersecurity framework provided by the National Institute of Standards, which we call as NIST, and kind of aligned to our security strategies aligned to the 5 pillars that NIST provides. And our goal is primarily to secure and manage customer trust smartly in a very timely manner, providing that experience to be seamless and most importantly, gain their confidence as they interact with our services.
Great, thanks. So how clearly you're working directly with technology, but how have you seen technology sort of affect the knowledge work that gets done around sort of Fidelity Investments across the organization?
Sure. The area in this space is the knowledge work, especially in the security space, is constantly changing and evolving. And in this space, what we constantly do is try to upskill ourselves, try to find out what the trends are, engage our research partners, our vendors, and the industry trends in the space, and try to see how we can adapt and course correct in a timely way to support security best practices. The key thing that we are learning as we move in the space, Gary, is data, right? Data, what I consider is considered the new oil and gold of our new economy, global economy. Enterprises are able to utilize data and gain competitive advantage to differentiate their service offerings by targeting and enriching customer trust and experience. So cybersecurity plays a very key role, partnering with data scientists and trying to come up with projections and trends and how we can protect our services in this new era of time where you're almost hearing cyber events happening on a daily basis. So how does knowledge work play a role in that space, right? Constantly attracting talent, looking at upskilling what we know right now, and not staying in a comfort zone that we know it all. I think is kind of a 3-pronged approach that I would recommend for folks. Is we need to constantly be ahead of what we do, and we need to invest time in doing that.
That's terrific. Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. We've been suffering with this pandemic for over 2 years now. How has that affected, work in your experience?
Yeah. So yeah, the pandemic was totally an unplanned event, right? So this was not just a country or a state. This was a global impact that occurred to each and every one, personally, be it at work, be it at home, be it with family, be it with friends. I think that's one thing that I've seen in the past 2 years is how we have collectively, handled the situation, and most importantly, being creative in getting through these situations, right? Overnight, within a month, universities moved to online. Work environments which were required to be in person, started moving to be remote. So technology played a key role in allowing us to adapt to that change. And most importantly, it was sustainable. It was not a momentary thing that kind of worked for a month and then things fell apart and then there was chaos, but actually incrementally we kind of, supported each other to kind of get through this pandemic. Initially, we thought it's going to be 6 months, then it kind of prolonged to a year, and now it's already 2 years. So I think the key learnings out of this for me, positively speaking, Gary, is I think there was a lot of growth in innovation. Working remotely became the norm, and modern technologies were enablers to switch to this model in a very short span of time, right? The interactions between teams, customers, in this case, students, clients, switched from in-person into virtual environments, and leveraging these collaboration tools became a norm. Understanding the workforce, being, and trying to being empathetic, right? It's not just about delivering work, it's trying to understand what happens in their personal lives mattered to everybody, be it faculty, be it employers, across the world, trying to understand, because that was a variable that we never ever factored in, is I'm sitting in my home while my children are going to school online, and my wife is having conversations with family at home or working with her clients, all of us in one roof, under one roof. It was a change that we all had to adapt, but I think collectively we all got through this. The last thing that I think I would like to call upon is various enterprises did various things to be empathetic to their employees, right? I know what UNC has done, and I know a lot of other employers. A key thing that we focused on at Fidelity was to provide that extra time to support families. Especially when if you have been impacted by COVID, or providing medical care choices where needed, and then providing guidance to overcome such personal challenges where needed. So, it was a very collective offering, working with our HR department, and I think that certainly showed value, given the sudden exposure of this pandemic and its impact, which nobody really envisioned.
That's really important. The points about sustainability in terms of the technology facilitating that, but the second sort of idea of being human-centered and attending to people's needs, really important. I'm really so happy to hear you say that, because I think we're all doing the best we can to be compassionate and understanding and supportive of each other. So that's wonderful. Thank you. Finally, for our SIL students, I know you know many of them through your gracious and excellent teaching here. What do you recommend for young people who are trying to prepare themselves to work in knowledge work for the future that's always going to be rapidly changing?
Yeah, first off, I want to thank the students. That's one thing that motivates me to teach. I tell my students that every time I teach a class, I'm actually another student in the class, learning from their questions, their experiences, and their feedback. So first, I think we're truly blessed at UNC to have a great, rich, super smart students that the school is really attracted. With that said, right, given this current situation and what to expect in the near term, I think one thing we all need to be prepared for, one thing I would share with the students is, be prepared for change, right? And be prepared for change in short order. And what does that mean, right? Trying to be creative, trying to be flexible, trying to work in a hybrid ecosystem where today you're working exclusively remotely. Tomorrow you could be exclusively on-prem, or you could be in a different location where, of choice. So I think location has become, there's no boundaries for location at this point. So that's one thing I would suggest. Second is, various enterprises have come up with various flexible options nowadays. So as you're preparing for your education and you're looking for career options, certainly have those candid conversations with the employers about what your expectations are. I think the employers are currently looking for talent to kind of build that next generation platforms for their technology environments in their enterprises. So I think, sharing your thoughts, being professional, and looking at creative options. Like, that's one thing that we're looking for is, hearing from the students on what else can we do. I keep asking my team the same question. There's always two things that we do, right? Is we do something very well, and we always focus on things that we could not do that we want to do. But the third bucket is something I want the students to think about is what else can we do? And I think that's a partnership between the faculty and the students, or tomorrow when you go to a workplace, the employer and the workplace participants. So in summary, what I would like to say here is, a few things that Fidelity has done is in the past 2 years is we've been actively continuing our internship programs. We have a virtual internship program. We are partnered with the UNC and local institutions, and we have some great talent from local universities that come to us. And moving forward, just because of the nature of the skill, knowledge workers, right? There's a big shortage of that skill. And I know UNC and local universities within North Carolina are actually providing the talent. There are a lot of opportunities. Keep your eyes open. Look for training opportunities or specialization areas that you want to focus on. And most importantly, this situation that we are in today will change. And I think how we transition to these changes makes us a better human. So my word, the concluding statement I'd like to say is be patient, and most importantly, make time for yourself to improve yourself from a health perspective or from a self-reflection perspective. And at the same time, make time to invest in your skills so that you're able to kind of professionally deliver what is expected of you. And last but not the least, stay close to your loved ones, and be safe.
Excellent advice. Ramana, thank you so much for joining us and your sage words. Stay well, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.